On this Wednesday night, the town of Bracebridge is under a state of emergency amid flooding and heavy rain.
Probably a couple hundred properties right now that we're really concerned about.
Water levels are expected to exceed those reached in 2013, when the region saw its worst flooding in a century. Plus,
the kid could have been hurt seriously or killed.
A wrench from a construction site falls onto a schoolyard during school hours, sparking concerns about safety. And it is the longest, fastest, highest roller coaster of its kind. We'll take you for a ride on the new Yukon Striker. Good evening, I'm Mike Wise. There's a state of emergency declared in the town of Bracebridge tonight because of flooding in cottage country. The mayor tweeted this video of the raging Muskoka River. It runs right through the middle of town. Some roads in the area are already washed out. Now, rapid snowmelt followed by heavy rainfall over the past few days has caused the water levels on that river and in local lakes to rise. Officials are warning residents who live in low-lying areas to be careful. Magda Gebrselassie has more from Bracebridge.
Yeah, it started to just be on the edge here.
Yeah. Jody Taylor started noticing the water level rising about 5 days ago. Now it's creeping up to the home she lives in.
I'm getting concerned because you don't know when the dams may break. Here, Huntsville, they need to get this water under control. Otherwise, it's going to be even more of a disaster.
Several roads have been washed out, properties are at risk, and the mayor of Bracebridge has declared a state of emergency. He took us on a tour of one of the flooded areas.
There's a parking lot for cars over there that's gone, a beach over here that right now is underwater, picnic areas. This whole bay is severely flooded.
Gives you a clear idea of just how high the water is, especially that railing there. People should be walking along that boardwalk. No chance of that today.
No chance of that today.
The last time the area declared a state of emergency due to flooding was in 2013. This time around, he worries the flooding could last longer.
Probably a couple hundred properties right now that we're really concerned about. And so this afternoon, we've got first responders out, OPP and fire, going door to door and checking on people and encouraging them to leave certain areas because we don't believe it's safe for them to be there any longer.
For now, Taylor is staying put.
I'll stay here till we have to leave, which hopefully won't be soon.
Things could get worse here. Environment Canada is calling for more rain in the coming days. Magda Gebrselassie, CBC News, Bracebridge.
The province is looking to put an end to OHIP's already limited coverage of emergency out-of-country medical costs. Right now, if you're hospitalized unexpectedly in another country, OHIP will reimburse you about $200 a day or a maximum of $400 a day if you are in an intensive care unit or surgical ward. The Ontario government is justifying the cost-saving measure, saying OHIP covers just 5% of typical medical emergencies, so buying travel insurance is already a necessity. It figures the move will save $9 million a year in out-of-country medical claims. A man is dead following a fire in a house in the Roncesvalles area late last night. Toronto Fire said the residence was a multi-unit housing unit it housed between 12 and 14 people. Most of them were able to escape, but one occupant was trapped on the second floor. Firefighters pulled him from the two-story building, but he was later pronounced dead at the scene. Police haven't told us his name, but they are still trying to notify next of kin. Toronto Fire is helping to make arrangements for the other displaced residents. There is a plan in the works to transform a 16-kilometer-long hydro corridor that cuts diagonally right through Scarborough. When completed, the Meadowway will let you walk or cycle all the way from the Don River to the Rouge River without ever leaving a park. Today, the public got their first glimpse at what it could be like. Kel DeYoon has more.
A Zen garden sitting area.
Tina Hamlet is part of a community group from the Morningside and Ellesmere area.
So this is the hydroplane behind our neighborhood.
She's one of dozens at tonight's consultation looking to get a better idea of the vision for the Meadowway.
The most important thing is that everything is accessible.
The Meadowway will stretch north from the Don River Ravine all the way to Rouge River on the eastern border of the city. Right now, it's the restoration phase, so the area is still quite barren, but it will slowly be transformed over the next 5 years. There are already isolated sections of trails, but they're not continuously connected.
Our goal is to have that trail fully connected so people can actually make their way from downtown Toronto to Rouge National Urban Park.
So this is going to be this amazing meadow full of all kinds of insects and butterflies.
When complete, it will connect 4 ravines, 15 parks, and 34 neighborhoods. The people behind the park are using this interactive map, letting those at the consultation scan QR codes to get a sense of what each area could look like.
Where are you going to have the crosswalks? Where are you going to have pedestrian bridges? Where are the views? Where do I garden?
Over the last few years, there has been a focus on big urban projects like Rail Deck Park and the Bentway, but both of those are situated in the downtown core.
Scarborough's home to over 600,000 people. We're here from all over the world. It's not the downtown, so we need to create community spaces that are specific to the mode of living.
Hamlet hopes her input will make a difference.
Food sustainability is really an issue, so we thought that having an urban garden in this space would be amazing.
There will be 2 more public consultations before the design phase next year. The entire project is estimated to cost around $85 million. Kelda Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
Colette Kennedy's here with the first look at the forecast, and clear skies overnight mean low temperatures, cool temperatures.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to see, Mike. We don't have that little blanket of clouds that we talk about sometimes that can hold in some of the daytime heating. So it is going to be cool through the overnight hours, a couple of degrees below seasonal, in fact, but that's okay because we have such a nice looking Thursday coming to us. A lot of sunshine and the temperature should be quite pleasant. Show you what I mean in just a second. But just to let you know, after tomorrow, we do have a wet day that's coming for the end of the week. So overnight tonight, there are clear skies setting us up for the sunshine tomorrow morning, but a bit of a cool start because temperatures down near the freezing mark. Late day is when we're going to find clouds rolling in. So most of the day sunshine, and then it's overnight Thursday into Friday. The rain moves through and a wet day that we have ahead of us on Friday. If you want to know about the weekend, I'll have that coming up a little later in the show. Overnight tonight, down to almost freezing, and tomorrow 16 degrees. A very nice day, Mike.
Incredible. Thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
Well, a battle is heating up between city officials and Premier Doug Ford's government over sweeping cuts to public health. Toronto's Board of Health Chair Joe Cressy is calling on the province to reverse the changes. Today, his press conference became the scene of a showdown with a staff member from the health ministry. City Health reporter Lauren Pelly was there.
Torontonians will die.
A dark prediction from Board of Health Chair Joe Cressy.
With no notice, no warning, and no consultation, the province shared the news that they would be cutting $1 billion over the next 10 years from Toronto Public Health, effective immediately.
I urge you, Mr. Ford, to meet and listen with regular civilians like myself who value human life so you can avoid having blood on your hands.
A few years ago, Priya Amin was treated for tuberculosis with the support of public health workers.
While I have fully recovered, there have been days where I have feared that the disease would come back, but at the same time, found peace in knowing that if it did, I would be in good hands with public health.
City officials worry the cuts could limit the unit's ability to prevent the spread of infectious diseases or run other programs like restaurant inspections, vaccination services, or meals in schools. In a statement, Health Minister Christine Elliott accused the city of fear-mongering and said Cressy is making misleading accusations.
You would follow up with us to tell us when we would.
A member of her staff also showed up to his press conference.
So are you not prepared to share with the media the numbers that you publicly shared with 35 medical officers of health and 35 board chairs?
Again, it's our priority to engage directly with municipalities. There's obviously a disagreement in those numbers, and we've reached out to try and reconcile those to understand how they got to theirs and how they're different to how we got to ours. But again, those are direct conversations. It's not something we want to do through media. But
what numbers
thank you.
Are you saying are inaccurate, though?
Thanks very much. We're happy to answer any further questions.
Thank you.
What numbers are inaccurate, though?
Why don't you just answer the question?
Like, is this wrong? What's inaccurate here? After that incident, I again followed up with Elliott's team to see if they would confirm their numbers, and they eventually did. They said that their analysis led to about a $33 million change in Toronto Public Health's funding this year. That, I should note, is around half of what the city's estimate showed. Now, the province didn't reveal how they reached that number. Mayor John Tory has also brought up concerns that Toronto is being harder hit than other municipalities, likening this to a targeted attack on the city. I brought that to the province as well. They said a city the size of Toronto should be able to run their public health unit efficiently. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
Parents at a Toronto elementary school are concerned after a wrench flew from the top of this construction site and landed somewhere in this schoolyard behind me. I'm Greg Ross. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, but coming up, we speak with a concerned father who wants developers to do more to ensure the safety of his children.
You've got a projectile coming at off a bungee cord from 23 stories up onto a playground that is way too close to this building, and a kid could have been hurt seriously or killed.
A man is dead after being hit by a car in Mississauga. It happened around 6 this morning at Hurontario and Eglinton. Investigators are trying to determine exactly where the man was when he was hit. The driver remained at the scene. Police are appealing for anyone who saw what happened or has dash cam video to give them a call. And a Toronto man has been sentenced to life in prison for murdering a 30-year-old woman, then dismembering her body and disposing of it in the trash. Melissa Cooper was last seen on this security video getting onto an elevator with Ian Ohab 3 years ago. Some of her remains were found dumped in the trash behind a butcher shop soon after. Ohab initially said she had died of drug overdose in his apartment, and in a panic he dismembered and scattered her body. But the court heard today that Ohab beat and murdered the 30-year-old shortly after she entered his apartment, and dismembering her body was a calculated move to conceal how she was killed. Now, because of that, Ohab will serve at least 22 years before he can apply for parole. Well, a wrench fell from a high-rise condo construction site 23 stories down onto a school playground last year. That incident is adding to a debate that has been going on for 2 years. Whether a 35-story residential tower should have ever been built so close to a school. Greg Ross has that story.
And a kid could have been hurt seriously or killed.
Ian Cooper has 2 kids that go to John Fisher Public School. He was shocked to learn last week that a 9.5-inch wrench flew from the top of this high-rise and landed on the school playground.
Parents were pretty freaked out by it. I mean, it came down from 23 stories, was flung as a projectile off a bungee cord.
A spokesperson for KG Group, the developer of the building, confirmed this happened on April 17th. In a statement, he said, "This isolated incident was thoroughly reviewed, and we have proactively taken enhanced safety measures to ensure this incident is not repeated." According to a report from KG Group sent to parents by the TDSB, a construction worker was climbing a ladder when the wrench was caught on a bungee cord barrier, causing it to fling over the side of the building.
The tools are supposed to be tethered when in use, especially near the edges, but somehow that didn't happen in this specific case.
The school had lost part of its playground when construction began in 2017. As a result of this incident, the school board is now going to restrict an even larger area.
We are now building a new fence along that part of the building, and we are going to be blocking off the playscape for the school where the wrench had fallen.
We're now at the point where our small playground is already being restricted, which is the right thing to do for the safety of the kids. But I guess the question is why the school has to yield to the developer.
For its part, the KG Group says it's also taking corrective and preventative measures, such as increasing frequency of safety and housekeeping inspections, installing safety meshes behind the double-stack safety fence to fully cover open areas, and expediting window installation. Parents say it's still not enough.
And one thing that they can do is think about when they're actually going to be constructing this and not do it while there are kids out there.
Cooper and other parents are also suggesting some other changes as well, like not putting balconies on the side of the building that faces the school. Might be a little too late for that, but they say they would also like to see KG Group reward their patients during this development, maybe by donating some money to help upgrade the school. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
It's got this 90-degree drop into an underwater tunnel, which is the most amazing thrill. And you actually hang over the summit for 3 seconds, staring at that drop before you release, and you're going from 0 to 130 kilometers an hour. It's wild.
It is the tallest, longest, and fastest dive coaster in the world, and it's about to open to the public at Canada's Wonderland. Our own Talia Ricci got up the nerves to ride it. You won't want to miss this. That's coming up later in the show.
The weather update is brought to you by Train Extreme Conditions Testing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
I'll admit it, I'm jealous. I didn't get the chance to report on this next story. Canada's Wonderland is getting set to welcome its latest roller coaster, one with a 90-degree drop and a couple of records to its name in terms of both size and speed. We sent Talia Ricci along for the ride's debut.
So when I was asked to do this assignment today, I thought, how tough could it be to ride a roller coaster? Thousands of kids will be riding this roller coaster this summer. But then people thanking me for volunteering to do this morning and telling me how brave I was really psyched me out.
It's got this 90-degree drop into an underwater tunnel, which is the most amazing thrill. But the coasters are floorless, and so you've got your legs dangling over open air, and you actually hang over the summit for 3 seconds, staring at that drop before you release, and you're going from 0 to 130 kilometers an hour.
How are you feeling?
Oh, nervous, but I'm excited at the same time.
I'm so ready to ride this crazy coaster.
Oh shoot, it looks like I'm not tall enough.
Is the longest dive coaster in the world. It is 1,105 meters long. It has the longest drop on a dive coaster in the world.
Hanging for that 3 seconds is probably my favorite part of the ride, although those inversions were pretty awesome too. It was definitely pretty intense, so I enjoyed it very much.
That's a very thorough review. Any advice for me though?
If you're scared of heights, don't look down.
Keeping our lovely audience in mind, I actually strategically did not eat breakfast this morning. I'm not scared, I'm excited. Can you guys make sure we're strapped in properly?
Yeah, we are.
I'm floating. That was actually awesome. I loved it.
So if any of that appealed to you, you can give it a whirl yourself when Canada's Wonderland opens to the public on May 3rd. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
The Blue Jays making it official tonight. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to the show. The Jays calling up their top prospect, who will make his highly anticipated Major League debut Friday against the visiting Oakland A's. He's been battling .367 with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs with the Bisons lately in Buffalo. The 20-year-old third baseman was born in Montreal, raised in the Dominican Republic. He is the son of Hall of Famer Vlad Sr., who played for the Expos and the Angels. And the Blue Jays wrapping up their 2-game set against the Giants. Kevin Pillar facing his former team for the 2nd straight day. Now on the swing, he loses the handle of the bat. It goes flying into the Jays' dugout. Oops. Everyone's fine, though. Pillar gets a gentle ribbing. He'd go 1 for 3 for the game, but the rest of his team would rack up the runs. The Giants sweep this series, blanking Toronto 4-0. Vlad Jr. can't come soon enough. Colette is back with her extended forecast. Cool start to tomorrow, but what a great day it's going to turn out to be.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the day tomorrow, Mike. I hope most folks are as well. I want to just show you something, point out something that I don't know why it made me smile this morning, but the record for snow on this date in history is 0.3 centimeters. So I love that it's so shy. It's such a shy amount. That's been holding since 1971. I'm glad it's a very small amount. Record high, almost 30 degrees. Well, we're not going there tomorrow, but it will be mild. And there's your average high for this time of year, almost 14 degrees in terms of where we should be. So we have the clear skies overnight tonight. We set up with sunshine tomorrow, a cool start, just because the temperatures are falling close to freezing through the overnight. But the winds aren't very strong, so it's not so much that we're talking about a wind chill factor. Now, it's not till late day Thursday we'll start to see the clouds building in. Earlier than that, though, over towards Hamilton, down around towards St. Catharines and Niagara Falls. And then overnight Thursday into Friday, that's when the rain comes in. So we'll see that that through much of the day on Friday and even into the evening hours, pushing up into areas, of course, that don't need any more rainfall to the north of the GTA as well. Now, going into the weekend, we're going to see things improving for Saturday, and then Sunday a bit of a decline. So the 5-day forecast is coming up. Overnight tonight, this is what you have for southwestern Ontario, partly cloudy conditions, and then we'll see increase in clouds. Not only that, though, a chance for getting some showers, some spotty showers in the afternoon. I see the better chance actually by tomorrow evening, but just know that that risk is there. 18 degrees the high for those of you watching us from Windsor, and in the GTA, yeah, with those clear skies, there'll be a few readings going down into the negatives. So -1 for Markham there. St. Catharines may be holding just above the freezing mark, and then some lovely readings. Mostly we're talking about mid-teens for the highs tomorrow with all that sunshine, late day cloud coming back. You might do a little bit better there into St. Catharines again with kind of a southerly flow, but not very strong with those winds. So after Thursday, it's in those overnight hours towards the wee hours of Friday morning. Rain moves in, 15 for the high, though, so still not bad in those mid-teens. Saturday, though, a little bit breezy, winds turning to the northwest. It's going to feel cooler, even though it will be a pretty day with the sunshine. And then even cooler still for Sunday, 8 degrees. The next system moves in with some rain, and then Monday will at least start to clear out, but still just a bit of instability, and temperatures still running then a little bit below seasonal, Mike.
And still cool over in the overnights. Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, you recognize that for sure.
Thanks, Colette.
You're welcome.
Coming up, it's almost that time of year again. The cherry blossoms in High Park will soon be Instagram ready. We'll tell you when to plan your trip and how to get there. Toronto's cherry blossom season is right around the corner. According to a site that tracks the trees, now that the buds have entered into the third stage of development, they are expected to reach peak bloom between May 7th to the 12th. It's apparently all thanks to the recent spring-like weather and warmer temperatures. Now, once they do reach peak bloom, For the first time ever, the city won't allow vehicles to park or drive through High Park. The change is aimed at increasing public safety and easing traffic congestion, both in the park and in the surrounding neighborhood. Best to take transit to get there. If you can't make it to High Park, there are other great clusters of cherry trees in Centennial Park, some on the Toronto Island. There's some by the Robarts Library, U of T, Korea Park in Mississauga, and Archdeacon Park in Brampton. That's our newscast for tonight. See you again tomorrow night around 11.